709-8230 or visit silverbullethomes.com. So call 1-800-709-8230 now. 742-1650. That's 800-742-1650.
This is the matches the description of a missing persons report I took a couple days ago. Irene Brent, married to a Dr. Brian Brent, was same since Friday night. Any reason to think she's not interested? The Chronicles sure wants her to be. They want us to confirm the number. 13th so far this year. We don't want the media running this case. Let's wrap it up as soon as we can. You're all on it, so I say quick.
13, that's low.
That's just off of one bridge. Preliminary autopsy reports. Lacerations were right temple, sustained prior to hitting water. Water in her lungs indicates that she was alive upon submersion. Cause of death, drowning. Anyone notified the husband?
I love my wife very much. Irene was happy. We both were. Why would she do this?
Well, we're investigating that now.
We both
Did you have any problems with anyone that you may have known about? Well, we're investigating
We're
that now.
protect ourselves. We both were.
Problems with anyone that you may have known about?
Friends and family. We both protect ourselves.
So when did she come to this country? You told me you were Washington that nobody could understand such things. Did you ever sexualize that?
She always said
Was she depressed about anything? Dr. Barber, this is difficult, but you really need to tell us about Irene's state of mind just before she disappeared.
she seemed happy.
La 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 la.
Be happy to see again. With a family. With children who need more space.
You were trying to get pregnant. Was she upset about that you guys have been trying so long?
No.
For whatever reason, they shut down my last one.
Dr. Brown.
I don't know what I might have said or done.
Irene was perfect.
Considering I was playing guitar in my living
The
room.
perfect wife.
Not even a cover song. Not even a song per
She
se.
was the perfect one. Now she-
So then I went, I guess I had to change it to kids off my no kids.
WMA.
So whatever. Fuck them.
Without medical.
Fucking community fucking
Well, of
standards.
course she shouldn't have.
You can have
You know
videos
how
of
she
chicks
is.
getting their asshole tattooed on YouTube. But me taking a wax it and playing some guitar violates some kind of standard. To watch a fucking video of a fucking pride parade
Maggie, are you
with
out of
dudes
your mind?
shaking their dicks in each other's faces.
Very
But
good.
me playing guitar and taking a wax it violates a community standard.
Oh yeah, now bring me so soon. No, I'm not taking no for an answer. You need anything else?
I don't digress. Censorship is bullshit on every level. If you don't like words, get thicker skin. There's worse offenses in life.
Lois? No way Irene jumped off that bridge.
Those words bothered me.
Look, when I met
It
her
hurt me.
last year, she was a walking stereotype. She was quiet. She
Words
shut
only
up,
hurt
you know,
if
head
they're
down,
true.
whole 9 yards.
And they convict you.
No. She was acting like what she thought her American husband wanted. But in here, after a while, she changed. Changed how?
When it's bullshit, you just shake it off like a duck.
Spunky, talkative, so full of life. And she wanted to become a citizen. and to go to college. She wanted to become a teacher.
How about sit with the husband?
How do you think?
Did you see him pick her up that night?
No, but I do remember she left right away.
And was that unusual?
Normally, she stayed after class to talk. She was so excited about becoming an American citizen, just voting, everything.
Her husband didn't pick her up right after class ended?
Well, when he thought it ended, yeah. She told him class ended a half an hour later than it really did, so she could hang out. She said that I reminded her of her sister.
We love our Sunsetter retractable line.
Why is this the only channel that's coming in right now? Why is this the only channel? That's kind of cool.
Ah, 進められない状況で、お客様に訪問もできませんし、4月の受注がかなり落ちてまして。
Church, I wrote that. Your plumbing and appliances. Oh.
See that? It's like smart charge technology. 40 minutes of runtime.
Que como periodistas, como reporteros, no.
With some ice in it, can you, before you tell me what I'm not doing, can you tell me what I am doing? Back to this message, and you're like, which one was it? Prayer and worship, because that's what happened.
And from that time on, even though I don't always do the right thing, at least I know God loves me.
You hear them defending themselves by saying, we prophesied, we drove out demons, we performed miracles. Now, From where I sit, that seems like a pretty impressive list. I mean, down.
后一会儿当保姆。
哦，以后就下水哈。
小茶很好吃，我们每次来必点小茶。
Lobster tail.
心情很爽啊！我想说，我一定要过来吃。
지난 얘기하고 싶지 않아요. 그렇겠지. 재현아 살면서 전 남편 얘기하고 싶지 않을 거야. 그게 우리 한국인들 아니야? 뭐 어때? 난 그렇게 생각해. 재혼이라는 걸 감추고 온 것도 아니고 전 남편 얘기 어쩌다 할 수도 있지 뭐. 남편이나 시부모한테 못하더라도 우린 성다른 동서끼리잖아.
For me, isn't this nice? A party just for us.
만성염증은 당뇨와 밀접한 관련이 있다. 복부의 내장 지방이 쌓이면 사이토카인과 같은 염증 물질이 분비되면서
Un tiempo compartido. Fuiste víctima de ventas de alta presión o de un agente de ventas deshonesto. As a bonus, you'll get the Stay Clean and Store Bag absolutely free.
You could connect the dots all up and down my arm, on my chest. I'll show you my scar.
Because you are old.
It is a very large and long scar. Okay. I just love meeting with women and showing them how this.
How this delusional makeup spray paints over your skin. You can pretend you don't have a blemish.
Very bad situation you can have an accident.
Marcel is the only happy one tonight. Now that the barge is secure, his main work is done.
Control de todo mi cuerpo, excepto
Mis piernas y en mi torso. Anda con el loco reacuerda.
Làm sao em biết nơi sâu cuốn tay đôi khi ta lắng nghe ta gì ra số gì ra số gì ra số gì ra.
Nó nói với bay để mang tiền tới để chuộc công dung. Và bay phải đi ra khỏi.
Please, cảnh sát freeway 22 exit First Trần Bụng lên Sài Gòn hoặc vào trang mạng
Toyota.
Chú biết lưu của quý vị hôm nay và ngày mai. Đứng lại, đã vậy.
Mình bị câu có, bực bội, quá trình trao đổi chất trong người nó mình bị xuống thấp, da của mình bị xấu, cái việc sử dụng cái này nó...
And it's okay if you let the glue set just a couple minutes. If it starts to get a little tacky, that's good.
Look down the beach toward the big pond.
But then your corn kind of goes everywhere. I like to split the corn in half and then just run your knife along it. And then you see the corn kernels just fall in one place.
Chosen to honor throughout your life.
Good. I'm gonna turn this on. You see this little discoloration right here? Gone. I've got this little red right here. Couldn't. She had an IUD.
Did she know?
For her, the autopsy is just the beginning. I need to do something. Dr. Jordan Kavanaugh tracks down answers in Crossing Jordan every day, starting at 1 noon Central.
I'm just getting started.
On Start TV.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Wow, is that really me? They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of
Talk
bags
to
under
me.
your eyes. Well, now you can see it work for yourself this Memorial Day and
You're not
feel
talking.
and look your best. It's called Plexiderm, and lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real. This one is for real, and I'm so
Yeah, I just said I'm reading it.
We even have a video that the viewers can watch while you and I talk, and you'll notice the model has studs underneath his eyes and it's sagging, and all he uses is a small amount, and that's how easy it is. All right, what's the active ingredient? Okay,
I don't know. What's up?
that are minerals found in shale rock, and what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. A little tiny,
Commercials.
very little effort. And after the
Lots of commercials.
and we were screaming 4 minutes, 34 seconds, completely gone. My God, holy words I can't say on camera. These lines pop, they really do. And this is unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It feels great. Looks even better. I'm Neela. I'm a personal trainer. It's so important.
As long as people aren't getting hurt and they're getting their point across, I say go for it.
Is amazing. Plexiderm, seriously, I think it's good outside. It's amazing. There's nothing there. Like, the bags are gone. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of both feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. So it targets all those problem areas. So this would be a daily thing, or just when you want to like get rid of the bag. Yeah, it absolutely could be a daily thing. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to.
People break stuff all the time and nobody cares. Why should they care now? What about all the hit and runs that happen? What about all the abortions? How many people die in prison because they didn't get their insulin on time?
Thank you, Amy. Before I say a word, I'm going to let the real results speak for themselves. Look how the sagging, the bags, and even the dark
Sometimes.
are no longer there. So what's the secret? It's not just one, but a breakthrough combination of skin tightening minerals that actually diminish the bags, cover the dark circles, and tighten the skin, all in as little as 5 minutes.
I was so surprised. I mean, the first time I looked at the picture, like, it looks like me 15 years ago.
I don't know, the more I look at TV and all the channels that you get free, they're all in Asian. They're not in Spanish.
Plus, it's perfect for a more youthful looking neck and décolleté. Okay, and we do this before or after makeup? On clean, dry skin, and then you can apply your makeup over it. It will actually help your makeup go on smoother because there's no caking under the eyes.
Call or go online to get your 1 month supply of Derma RPX for the special introductory price of just $19.99. We're so sure that the best wrinkle
Right on.
you've ever used. That it comes with a 90-day money-back
I watch them and try to piece together sentences.
We're going to double it and give you a second month supply of Derma RPX absolutely free. And here's the best part. We'll ship it to you free.
It still sounds like birds.
Derma RPX and free shipping. An incredible offer. To order, call 1-800-207-5576. That's 1-800-207-5576 or order online at buydermarpx.com.
That's impossible. Irene was not using birth control. All she wanted was to get pregnant.
Well, I'm sorry, Dr. Bryan, but it looks like that's the last thing that she wanted.
Nah, I ain't paying for TV.
That was just a mistake.
Dr. Bryan, she was 15 years old.
It's just background noise. There's just no new plots. It's pretty much like books or articles or anything else that's out there. As soon as you start into it, you already know what it's going to be about. Exactly. It's all just rehashed. So we got to take it on ourselves to make new TV shows. Everybody be their own TV show. YouTube, TrueTube, Discord, all of them. You should have a solid web presence on at least 50 different social media sites. If you really want to get saturation down. Yeah, it's not hard. You don't have to really interact on most of them. It's just search engine results. It beefs up your analytics, makes you seem more relevant. It's like shoehorning your way into the system a little bit. Because you're just working with AI, and AI sucks. The people that programmed it are idiots. And they overlooked a lot of common sense flaws that you can exploit. Hell yeah, they messed up that whole line of cars. Were the ones in the front were on fire? The whole line of cars was messed up, I heard. They're going to burn it down, and then insurance will pay those people back, and everything else is going to go onto the taxpayer. In anybody's business that's not on their team, they're going to find ways to be like, oh, well, we had to reject your claim because your insurance premium went up and you didn't pay it, so you weren't. They always find some kind of crooked shit to pull on everybody. Hell yeah, it is. They were even giving out the numbers. The guy was telling you, oh, this many businesses at my strip mall. Like, who needs to know that? We can see it's on fire. While they're doing all that shit, they're trying to change the laws around on people. Like here in Dickhead County, they're trying to make it illegal to smoke in public. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't want to hear your stupid ass motorcycle engine. I don't like seeing fucking security animals with people, especially the fake ones. It's one thing if you're blind and you need a seeing eye dog, but your chihuahua ain't doing a goddamn thing for you. And I challenge you to prove otherwise. No, it's cool. You can smoke weed wherever. They're trying to do away with cigarettes. I do because it's my sacraments, it's my people's shit. Tobacco is part of the process. So is cannabis. So are mushrooms, so is peyote, so is a bunch of other substances that you ain't gonna ban. You don't have the right to ban that shit. Nobody does. The whole concept of government's a fucking fraud. People don't even pay attention. They gave corporations the right to be private slave owners again when they made corporations private citizens and they let them privatize prisons. They handed over the government's power to retain slave ownership over to the private industries again. And once it applies to one industry, other industries can claim it. And if you look at if you work at any different companies and you really look into this shit, you'll find some crooked rules. Like out here in SoCal, for instance, it's okay for the boss to be abusive to you verbally, but not physically. They just can't say anything sexist or racist or anything discriminatory. So they can find some shrewd ways to talk shit on you and cut you down and just degrade you without crossing the line. It's surreal. Shit, they ain't worried about it. They got GPS on those cars. They'll find parts of them. Then it's all a tax write-off for them. The insurance can't even dispute it. They saw it on TV. There it is. Someone stole all our cars. It's just the rich people getting more shit back, the expense of all of us. Now they're going to say, like, oh, well, see, lockdown wasn't enough. We need to lock you down further. They're trying to really push the envelope and they're hiding the news. But I think the fact that the people are laying around on the White House lawn, like, that's just unheard of. I don't remember the hippies getting that far. Shit, they don't even listen to the news. They just go with whatever the sign on the door says. The media is just advertising. Whatever's going to get them, they'll do. If their gun sales are down, hey, they're taking away your guns. Nobody's getting medicine because nobody's getting sick. Hey, everybody's sick all of a sudden. Go out and get your medicine. It's just a big fear ad campaign, fear-based ad campaign. Just like they showed in Monsters Inc. And the other part of it's the energy harvest, like they also showed in Monsters Inc. They showed it in Ghostbusters too as well, when they charged the slime. Yeah, it's pretty much like their bread and butter. They have to put a visual display out so that people can figure it out, because it's no fun if you don't have a real enemy to combat. It's easy to get infantry, but they want to have a general to fight. So in order for that to happen, the system has to play at all levels so that a few people here and there will slip through the cracks and become like predator level battling. Yeah, like mind games, physical games, all of the above, probably even spiritual games. You got to think from their position. They've got all the money, they've got all the power. Anything they want is theirs. The one thing they can't have is your free will. Yeah, where's he at? Supposedly he was dead. Then supposedly there's photographs of him 2 days later, board in a helicopter. I don't even believe celebrities are real, dude. I think they're all CGI. If you ever look into real-time digital editing software, Disney Magic, all it is they can just make a person on screen and nobody would know. Nobody even questions it. They just listen and watch the sports game or whatever the hell's on TV. They're happy to watch it because they're just stoked that they're not at work. Stand-ins, they might still have a real person, because sometimes you'll see an actor and in the movie, oh my god, they look like they always do, but then when they go on the talk show, it's like, damn, did they just age 20 years between the release of this movie and their interview on the talk show? Like De Niro, for him being in movies talking and he acts like normal, but then you see him in person on his interviews, the dude looks like he's senile and can't even do shit, let alone be in a new movie. Same with all them crusty old assholes. Yeah, he always appears younger than he is in the movies. Like when you see him in a movie, it always seems like he's 40, 42 or something like that. But dude's pushing 80. And then some of them don't even look like themselves anymore. Like Madonna totally changed. That looks like a fucking dude now. Dave Chappelle, everybody claims he's been cloned. It's a crazy world. Maybe. I sometimes feel like this piece of me is in this little body, but there's a greater me that's behind it, kind of running it all, like a little video game. And there's something even bigger behind that. But that ain't me. But it is what made me. There's been other times where I felt like I was made out of orange soda. Just bubbling and fizzing. It's kind of like the less possibilities you limit yourself to, the further you go. And then you just divert all your free time to meditating and pushing the envelope, seeing where it leads. Even if it's not spectacular, it's something different. That was a good hit. Smoking Fire Industries Wi-Fi mints tonight. Shout out to those guys. They make a good product. Oh, that's classical music. Boring the fuck out of me. Well, you got to think about it. You'd only need a person for what? Book signings. You don't even need them for a real public appearance at the theater or anything. They can just make all that on the green screen. Everything on TV or the film, all green screen. It would be way cheaper to just do it with digital mapping and modeling. Then they don't have to cut and paste. It's just all generated. Especially if you start with a virtual person to begin with. That or another way, maybe they go into it and they get to a point where they don't want to be shills anymore. And no amount of money, they won't say what they're, they turn around and bite the hand that feeds them. So they're just like, well, we got enough of you recorded. And we got your lookalike. And we'll just give them a little bit of surgery and tweak them up. I always think about it like if I can think about a plan or a strategy, then how much more so than they could think about, because they're in the position to have to hang on to that power by any means necessary. So they're going to be desperate on every level at all times to hang on to that power. So I don't feel like anything is beyond them. Especially when you look back at history, the rulers have always done the most vile shit to their citizens. Eugenics, nuclear warfare, biological warfare, the Grateful Dead. So much shit that they put out into the world that is just needless. Barney the dinosaur. Like, I honestly feel like Barney the dinosaur is worse than MK Ultra. Because at least MK Ultra had a goal. Barney just made everybody fucking retarded. Yeah. The hell did Barney teach anybody? You don't love shit in America. Everybody loves themselves. Teletubbies, fuck. I tried watching that with my kid one time. God damn. I thought I was on a mushroom trip. I was like, what in the fuck? He's got TVs in the chests. They're eating tubby pudding, tubby custards, tubby toast. Like, mind boggling. I was spoiled. Like, when I grew up, they had the good shows like Thundercats and Voltron, the original Transformers, all the good shit. Robotech, Transorzy. They even had Fantastic Four back in the day. That was like when I was a little kid though. All right, on. Why is everybody still off limits or what? Here, everybody's forgotten that there's anything wrong. They're all just out and about doing their normal day-to-day shit. Venice has always been kind of dirty. Usually you're good as long as you get out at sunset. You know it's true, dude. It's like the reverse of cockroaches. The sun starts going down, everybody just scatters to their cars. Like, well, later. I bet there ain't no busking because there ain't no tourism. That's a lot of people that ain't getting fed. Plus all the other businesses too. Shoplifting's at all-time high. Shit's popping off everywhere. This is kind of tame around me because I'm like right by the government center. So they strategically set it up so there's not a lot of things by them. I think it switched over to being run by AI a while back. Because they showed us that in the news, like in the 40s and 50s, they had these giant computers and they would feed it probabilities and simulations and run computer simulation models on it, you know, to see what would happen if this country went to war and that country went to war. And they just kept calculating and calculating and calculating. And eventually the computer got fast enough to where it could predict the things before being asked, just based on the logical procession of the questions. Because the computer would pick up on the patterns and go, okay, this data set can be overlaid with that and that and that, and the computer would compress the data and be able to simultaneously construct many simulations that are one. I don't think there is a previously. I think it's always the same ruling class, whether it's spirit beings or alien beings or whatever you want to call them. There's something that sits outside of time somehow and makes sure their alternate method gets propagated into our reality, or at least as far as recorded history shows us. I don't know. It depends whose theory you subscribe to. Like, if you believe it's the devil doing it all, maybe he rose up and, like it says, he rose up and challenged God and said, I want to be like you and be better than you. Maybe God said, here, get down there and prove it then. Let me see you make life work. That's why life sucks so bad, because the devil can't do it. Nobody could do it but God. That would be a theory. Or it could be aliens saw us after a catastrophe and saw that our society was wiped out. Or it could have even been our own people that were out traveling out and about. I don't believe that we were ever cavemen in the sense that we had to evolve and adapt from a mindless state, because that's not how knowledge works. Plus blood clotting. The whole factor of blood clotting totally disproves evolution, because you would not have a species alive long enough to adapt a blood clotting factor. And that would only become an occurrence once a creature was alive and got cut open. But I digress. It's all a state of mind, just like they showed in the Matrix. Whether they were plugged in or plugged out, they were still under the system of interdependent control. Even their head dude told him, he's like, yeah, we could unplug the machines, but the machines provide us our heat. And we use the steam to make power and water, it's like, so even though they were free, they still weren't free. And that was their whole point, to tell you, like, you can be woke up or whatever the hell you think it is, get your conscience up, you're still going to be in the same spot. You can be fully aware, still working your Joe job, struggling through life, watching other people get ahead just because they were born to the special family, or kiss the right ass, or suck the right dick. Pardon my French. Ah, fuck, I don't give a fuck. Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck. Have you ever touched a hallucination? See, that one's always been a mind boggler to me. I'd say I was like 22, maybe 23. And me and my good buddy Shane had got a hold of these amazing black and white mushrooms. And like we were at the beach, like 30 miles away from the house, and we decided we'd split a cap for the ride home. Didn't think nothing of it, you know, because we're seasoned. But like we sent the other guy, Tony, to catch us a bag of weed. And while he was gone for 10 minutes, the one half a mushroom cap started kicking in on both of us. So it's like, shit, we got to get back to the house. So then, like, you know, we started eating more on the way home. It was only a 20-minute drive. But when we got back, I jumped out of the truck and I went to go around to the gate. And I bumped into this giant python. And it was like white and yellow. And it was, if it was fully sized, it probably would have been like what a 20-footer would be. But it was solid. It was like bumping into a solid fucking wall. But it wasn't there. I was tripping. But I felt it. And it was real. And it stopped me in my tracks. And my friends saw it stop me in my tracks. And that's when I thought about it. I was like, what is a hallucination? The nature of our eyes is light transmitted, and it either passes through an object or it doesn't. And that information's transmitted to us. So something's there, filtering and diffusing that light as hard as it can. Yeah. I mean, if you have any kind of impact on the real world around you, obviously you're real because your senses all pick it up and other people's senses verify it. Or as real as it can be in any measurable sense. And then like another time, I got him to see a tentacle-headed thing. It was really perverse. He was kind of mad at me over that one for a while. But he eventually got over it. It just scared him. It's just a tough call. Like, is it me projecting it for him? Or is it just something that's there? Like an easy one is like the Cerberus dog, the three-headed dog, where it kind of looks like a lion and a dog mixed, but it's a three-headed thing. I think it's a common image around because a lot of people can see it in a lot of different places. Hallucinations. Like for people tripping, there's a lot of the similarities to what they see and the patterns they see, the parameters of it, you know. Like anytime I hear stories from other people that were tripping and it coincides, like if 4 people describe the same animal that they saw, then you got to start thinking, okay, well, why would 4 different people see the same thing independent of each other? I mean, it's possible, but it's so highly improbable. Nah, others just start adapting. Eventually, they don't even need the drugs. They just start seeing the patterns. Because part of it is kind of an optical trick. But it's more like an organic optical trick or whatever it is. Like if you study the chameleon, the skin contains these things called pyrimidines, and the shift in the chemical composition and those little things is what makes them able to blend in with their surroundings and change colors and all that. So if you had a really complex skin made out of micropyrimidines, you could probably duplicate anything and be virtually invisible at all times. You never know. If someone can imagine it, somebody else can usually build it. And a lot of the stuff they tell us, they don't even know. Like watching the thing, you watch the thing on the Mount St. Helens eruption, the Spirit Lake, and they tell you straight out that they had this salamander, and since there's no forest for it to live in yet, it's staying in the water, and it has more of its fishtail and fish fin still than its legs. So they tell you evolution takes millions and millions of years for one adaptation to occur. And yet here you have this fucking salamander that's adapted in less than a year. It's possible. I'll drink a little bit here and there. I'm not really a big drinker. I prefer smoke. Ghosts. I don't really see it as ghosts. Like, it could be an angel or it could be a demon. There's definitely things you see, whether you're hallucinating or not. And other people have seen the same exact thing at the same time, totally sober. So I always defer back to logic, you know. If it's something that's a good force, then why doesn't it just say something positive to me and reveal itself and give me something beneficial? If it comes and there's a mystery to it, and all it does is cause me to wonder and distracts me from thinking about something more productive, then really it was negative and therefore it's probably bad. The whole proof is in the pudding thing. Not only that, and the amount of ghosts that they say there are, where people say this is haunted, not as haunted, because the ghost had unfinished business or it was tortured to death or murdered or something. Well, like, how many wars have there been? Shouldn't there be like a shit ton of ghosts everywhere at all times, haunting the living shit out of everybody, going, hey. It's things like that. That's the issues I have, and it's not that I disagree totally with stuff, but it's just theories and thoughts I have. Because I always find some kind of loophole or flaw in things. Like with reincarnation, they're always like, yeah, you just come back. So then it's like, well, do new people have a portion of a soul? Or is there a finite number of people that come out, which means that God isn't an infinite expression, but a finite expression that has to reloop itself, which would be a contradiction. That's why God made weed. Bam. I don't want to see car crashes.
Meet Dr. Luisa Delgado. Hey, call me Lou.
No thanks. Fucking Luisa Delgado. Clink. Why? Who needs a bendable fucking mirror? That would deform your image. How would that be helpful? This is what's wrong with America. It's a bunch of solutions to problems that don't exist. Here you go. Here's a mirror you can bend. You can warp your image to sharpen it for yourself to see better somehow. Right? Or here you go. Here's some spray paint. You can spray paint over your blemishes. It makes them appear to vanish. Like, but you didn't do anything. Why would you do that to do nothing? Soon it'll all be made by robot. A lot of people forget that before all the nonsense started, there was articles widely going around that 87% of the jobs were being phased out by robotics and automation. Are people really going to go to war to keep struggling and working instead of spending time with their family and taking a check to stay at home? Like, I never got to stop working. I've been working the whole time. This shit's been going on. It's stressful as shit. But I see how all the people are on their little paid vacation. They're happy as clams. Going to restaurants. Like, ooh, the restaurants are open. We can go here. We can go there. We're going to go on a weekend trip. Maybe. If it fragmented and everything became its own little kingdom, that would be kind of cool. As long as they stated up front how they were going to run their shit so you could choose wisely. I'd have no problem with that. Like, okay, you guys are cool with weed. This is okay, that's okay. Sign me up. I'll work for you, and we can even work out some kind of tax system if need be. But I think it's bullshit the way taxes are now, where everybody has to pay, and they just give it to whatever and whoever. Oh, it's going to get worse. Like, this is just to distract people from the food shortages that are about to happen, and they're saying the dollar is going to collapse because oil funds the petrodollar, and you can't just make digital cashless currency. It's all a farce. If you look it up, it'll tell you if you pay off the national debt, it'll crash the economy. They tried it once before and it crashed the American economy. They have to have a debt in order to issue bond certificates, and the bond certificates are what gives you stability. Because when you're at zero debt, there's no skin in the game. When you got bonds to issue, then other people can invest and feel like part of it and make some money out of it. I don't remember exactly. I think we did it on God Body Show a couple of months back. We looked into it. All this system is set up all crazy crackadoo shit. They tell you there's a separation of church and state, but then you go into a court and the first thing you got to do is swear on a Bible. They don't even specify which God you're supposed to be swearing an oath to. And refusing, then they go, that's contempt. I'm like, no, that would be freedom of religion, I thought. Or you can really fuck with them and give them the verse where it says, let no man take an oath. Do all that one. Where are the miracles? See, it's like Jesus's teachings. I love Jesus's teachings. And I do believe I'm saved. I don't believe I can do whatever I want and trample people and be an evil person and get away with it because of that by any stretch of the imagination. I'd try to be fully conscious and aware and use my logic and knowledge to guide me through life like you're supposed to. I don't think God is a hover parent. That's the whole point of free will, is to do it without training wheels. And a lot of the New Testament's not even, there's no verifiable way to show that it's even Jesus's teachings. Because they straight out say it was Paul the apostle who was Saul the persecutor. And he was a Roman, and the Romans always assimilate religion to expand their control. So, they changed the whole system of belief up after that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the same nonsense going on. Because they still have money changers in the temple again. They're all the same no matter what costume they wear, what title they have, rabbi, imam, reverend. They're all just a dude with a big collection plate. Spirituality should be a personal thing to everybody. It's your spirit, your relationship with God or the Creator, whatever you want to call it. The book they adhere to even says, do this in private. Don't be like the heathens and do everything publicly. Praying and whining and crying to God. So it's like, well, if you can't abide by what you're supposed to be believing in, then what the hell are you doing? It says don't kill. I believe in that. I don't want to kill people. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie, don't commit adultery. Don't honor false gods, honor your father and mother. Keep Sabbath day. I mean, those are all good rules. The 10 Commandments are good. The golden rule's good. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. That's a good rule. I don't want people hurting me or killing me, so I don't hurt or kill them. But nowhere does it say here, give a piece of your check every time you see me. Hey, it's Wednesday. Why don't you give me another piece of that money? Hey, it's Sunday. Hey, well, now we got a place to meet up on Fridays, too. Oh, and there's a meeting Thursday. Bring that pocketbook, because there's always going to be a collection plate. Where do y'all spend the money? Because you ain't got new instruments, you ain't got new carpeting, you ain't got a new sound system, you ain't got new floors, you ain't got new ceilings, you ain't got new paint job, you ain't got new playground equipment, you ain't got new lawnmower, you ain't got nothing new. Where's the money going? Tax-free money, where does it go? Still all the same poor people. If you grow up in a town long enough, you'll see the same homeless people year after year after year. How is it possible with all these charities and all these churches and all these people taking in all this free money? Little Catholic Church nonsense. Hiding pedophiles. Goddamn devils. They should dox those people and just burn them on a stake. Right here, this is what y'all prescribe for everybody. Take it. You want to harm little kids? Fucking burn. Burn alive. Or just throw them out into the snow. Back here. Try to survive the Ice Age. That's the trick of it, though. What people think of as Satanism, those people don't directly worship what is Satan. Like, they're more a cult of willpower and delusion and deceit. Like, the people that are really bad in this world serve something mysterious. And there's not even a name for it. They just know. And when they meet each other, they recognize it.